A lot of people dream about retiring at 55. No alarm clock, no commute, and no boss. But here's the reality check most don't see coming. Social Security doesn't kick in until 62. So if you stop working at 55, there's a 7-year income gap you'll need to fill without one of your most important retirement income sources. And what most people don't realize is retiring early can also actually reduce your future Social Security benefits. Not because the government's penalizing you for retiring early, but because of how the system is going to calculate your monthly check. Hi, I'm Mark Wisniewski, president of Southern Incomes and retirement educator for over 25 years. If you're thinking about leaving the workforce at 55, or you already have, this video is for you. We're going to walk through how retiring early impacts your Social Security, what happens behind the scenes in the formula, and what smart retirees are doing to protect their income. If you find this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps more people find content that truly matters for their retirement. Let's dive in. Part 1, you can't collect Social Security at 55. Let's get the obvious out of the way. You can't start Social Security at 55. The earliest possible claiming age is 62. That means if you retire at 55, at least 7-year window where you're going to need to fully fund your lifestyle without any help from Social Security. And that gap matters, not just because of the income, which is obvious, but because of how your Social Security benefit is calculated. And that brings us to part 2. Stopping work early can lower your benefit. Here's the part most people miss. Social Security is based on your highest 35 years of earnings. So, what happens if you stop working at 55? You'll likely be replacing some of those top earning years with zeros. So let's say you start working at 22 and you retire at 55. That's going to be 33 years of earnings. If you don't go back to work, 2 years of zero income get averaged in, and that pulls down your benefit. By how much will it drop? Well, it depends on your income history, but let's look at a real world example. If someone's earning, say, $120,000 a year and they stop working at 55 and never earn again, and let's say they were on track for $3,200 a month benefit at their full retirement age, their actual benefit might be closer to about $2,900 or even less, depending on how many low or zero years get factored into that formula. And that's before we start talking about early claiming penalties. Part 3, claiming early reduces your monthly check permanently. Let's say you do retire at 55 and you decide to take Social Security at 62. Again, that's the earliest possible age. Yes, you get that check sooner, but it will be reduced for life. If your full retirement age is 67 and you claim at 62, you're looking about maybe a 30% permanent reduction. So if your full benefit was going to be, let's say, $3,000 a month, you're only going to receive about $2,100. And remember, if you also stopped working at 55, you're now stacking 2 reductions. Number 1, fewer high earning years, and number 2, early claiming penalties. That combination can seriously cut your lifetime Social Security income. Part 4, working part-time can help preserve that benefit. Here's a strategy many people overlook. If you plan to retire at 55 but still want to protect your Social Security in the future, consider part-time work or consulting. That's a very popular one right now. Even modest earnings in your 50s and early 60s can add more income years to your 35-year average. Replace lower earning years from earlier in your career. Potentially boost your benefit by hundreds of dollars a month. This is especially helpful if you had gaps in employment or say you took time off to raise a family. The bottom line, every year you earn above previous lower years can increase your benefit. Part 5, you still get credit for what you've already earned. Now, the good news. If you stop working at 55, you don't lose Social Security entirely. You keep everything that you've earned up to that point. The benefit you're eligible for is still based on the 35 highest earning years that you've worked. It's indexed for inflation and paid out when you claim at 62 or later. So it's not a use it or lose it deal. But the earlier you stop earning income, the more limited your benefit growth becomes. That's why planning the retirement income gap between 55 and 62 is so critical. Part 6, how to fill the income gap between 55 and 62. If you're serious about retiring at 55, you need a strategy to bridge that 7-year Social Security gap. Some of the most common income sources retirees use is, well, number 1, taxable brokerage accounts. They allow penalty-free withdrawals at any age, and they can be tax efficient if they're structured properly. The 401k rule of 55. If you leave your job at 55 or later, you may be able to withdraw from your 401k without penalty. But this only applies to your current employer's plan. Roth IRA contributions. You can withdraw the contributions, not the earnings, at any time without any tax or penalty. Cash value from life insurance or annuity ladders. These can provide tax-efficient, guaranteed income streams during those early years. A bridge strategy with a pension or rental income if applicable. The phrase is often referred to as retirement glide path. You want to draw income in a way that avoids penalties, minimizes taxes, and preserves your long-term plan. Part 7, delaying Social Security might be worth it if you can afford it. Let's flip the script for a second. You retire at 55, but instead of taking Social Security at 62, you wait until 67 or even 70. Now, why would anyone delay a benefit they've spent decades earning? Because in many cases, waiting can dramatically increase what you receive. Here's how it works. If your full retirement age is 67 and you delay until 70, your benefit grows by 8% per year guaranteed. That's not market-based, it's built right into the Social Security formula. So let's say your full benefit at 67 is $3,000 a month. Wait until 70 and that jumps to over $3,700 a month, every single month for the rest of your life. Now, let's layer this into early retirement. If you stop working at 55, you're going to need a bridge strategy to get through the next 15 years. But if you can do that without taking Social Security early, you can maximize your benefit, reduce long-term withdrawal stress, and protect against running out of income in your later years. And if you're married, delaying your benefit can also boost the survivor benefit your spouse may receive if you pass first. That's a gift with real lasting value. But this is also important. Delaying only works if your bridge plan is solid. If you go ahead and burn through your savings in your 50s and early 60s just to delay that Social Security, you might end up worse off later on. This is where strategy becomes everything. You need a plan that balances how much you draw, where you draw it from, how to minimize taxes, and when Social Security fits best in your overall timeline. And that brings us full circle. Retiring at 55 is a powerful decision, but it's also a fork in the road. One path leads to freedom and security. The other, quiet stress, shrinking accounts, and irreversible mistakes. the difference is almost never about how much you've saved. It is about the strategy used to access it. So if you're serious about retiring early and want to make the most of Social Security without jeopardizing your plan or your peace of mind, then it's time to take the next step. Let's build your income plan together. One that bridges the gap, supports your lifestyle, and sets you up for a confident claim at the right time and in the right way. Book a call with me using the link in the description. We'll walk through your retirement age, Social Security timing mix, and tax exposure, and we'll show you what's possible when all the pieces work together. I'm Mark Wisniewski. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today. If you found this helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more retirement strategies done right. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.